Ladies and gentlemen, when you want to grab people's attention, you have to start with a bold, clear mission that feels larger than life but still very real. That's why beginning with the statement that today I am going to feed 100 homeless people is more than just words. It is a promise of action, a challenge, and an invitation for the audience to join in the journey. The moment you say those words, people immediately become curious. And I'm going to show you the difference. They wonder how you are going to make it happen, where you are going to get the food, how you are going to serve that many meals, and most importantly, what it will look like when those 100 people finally receive their meals. This curiosity is the energy that keeps people watching. And the mission itself sets the stage for a powerful story that combines generosity, surprise, and impact. The difference, starting a video or a speech with a big mission like this makes the audience feel like they are stepping into something extraordinary. Difference. Everyone has scrolled past thousands of videos, but the ones they stop for are the ones that promise an experience they have never seen before. Feeding 100 homeless people is not something that happens every day, and it has a number attached to it that makes it specific, measurable, and dramatic. Saying, I am feeding 100 homeless people today is much more powerful than saying, I am giving food to people in need. Numbers create scale. Difference. Scale creates urgency, and urgency creates attention. In the world of storytelling, that is the hook, and without a strong hook, even the most meaningful actions can get lost in the noise. But a hook is not just about shock value or numbers. It is also about heart. Show you the difference. When you declare that you are feeding 100 homeless people, you are not just making a promise of entertainment. You are making a promise of impact. Difference. The audience is not only excited about how you will do it, but they are also emotionally invested in the outcome. They know these are real human beings with real struggles, and watching them receive something as simple and necessary as a meal is going to touch them deeply. That emotional anticipation is what transforms a simple mission into a story worth watching until the very end. People do not only want to be entertained, they also want to feel something real. They want to be reminded that kindness still exists. And they want to believe that big acts of generosity can inspire others to do the same. The power of the mission grows even stronger when it is delivered with energy and confidence. Imagine standing in front of the camera, eyes wide with excitement, voice filled with determination, saying, today, I'm going to feed 100 homeless people. That energy communicates urgency, passion, and belief. Difference. It tells the audience that what they are about to see is not an ordinary act of charity, but an epic challenge that requires preparation, resources, and commitment. The difference. Your delivery sets the tone for everything that follows, because people will not only hear your words, they will feel your excitement. The difference. The more excited you are about the mission, the more excited the audience will be to see it unfold. Difference. The statement also creates a sense of scale and drama that allows you to build anticipation. When you hear that 100 people will be fed, so your mind starts to imagine the logistics. Will there be huge trays of food? Will there be trucks delivering meals? Will volunteers be running around trying to serve everyone at once? The mind automatically fills with images of scale, difference, and that imagination keeps viewers hooked because they want to see if the reality matches the scale of their imagination. By promising something that feels big right at the start, you plant a question in the viewer's mind that they cannot answer without watching further. That question is, how is this going to happen? Every second they watch brings them closer to the answer, and every second they stay means your message has a stronger impact. Another layer of this mission is the moral weight it carries. Feeding the homeless is not just about giving food, it is about giving dignity, care, and hope. The audience may come in expecting entertainment, but what they receive is a story that challenges them to think about their own role in the world. Difference. When you say you are feeding 100 homeless people, you are not just setting a challenge for yourself, you are setting an example for others. You are showing that it is possible to think big, act big, and help big, even when the world often tells us to think small. Difference. This example inspires viewers not only to watch, but also to reflect on what they could do in their own communities, even if on a smaller scale. It is also important to realize that the hook is not only for the audience, it is also for you. Declaring that you are going to feed 100 homeless people holds you accountable. Once you say it out loud, there is no turning back. You are locked into that mission, and your energy must now rise to meet the scale of your words. That pressure makes the experience more real and pushes you to go further than you might have gone if you had not made that public commitment. For the audience, the difference. This sense of accountability makes the mission even more compelling, because they know they are not just watching a random act, they are watching a promise being fulfilled. The number itself, 100, also adds to the epicness. So if you said you were going to feed 10 people, it would still be nice, but it would not sound extraordinary. If you said you were going to feed 1,000, difference, it might sound too impossible or too abstract. But 100 hits that perfect balance between being achievable and being impressive. The difference. It is large enough to sound massive, but not so large that people doubt it can be done. That balance makes it believable and exciting at the same time. The human brain loves round numbers, and 100 feels like a milestone, something worth celebrating and worth documenting. Finally, the mission hook does something subtle but powerful. It creates a sense of community between you, the people you are helping, and the audience watching. When you say you are feeding 100 homeless people, you are inviting the viewers to feel like they are part of it too. They may not be handing out the meals directly, but by watching, by supporting, and by sharing, they become part of the mission. The difference. This sense of inclusion makes the audience feel good about participating in the video, because it is not just entertainment, it is impact. Friends, they can tell their friends they watch something meaningful, they can share it to spread positivity, and they can feel like they could contribute it to a cause bigger than themselves. When you take on a mission like feeding 100 homeless people, the story becomes much stronger when you show the reality of the struggle they face every single day. Audiences do not just want to see the happy ending. Difference. They want to understand why the mission matters in the first place. They want to feel the weight of the problem before they feel the joy of the solution. The difference. By giving them a glimpse of the struggle, you are not exploiting anyone's pain. You are creating empathy. And empathy is what transforms a simple act of kindness into a powerful moment that resonates long after the video ends. To feed someone is simple, the difference. But to show the world why that meal matters requires opening their eyes to the struggle of living without food, without shelter, and without certainty of the next day. Every struggle begins with a human face. When you introduce even one person who is going through homelessness, you immediately give the audience someone to care about. Difference. They are no longer thinking in numbers or statistics, but in personal terms. Imagine showing a man sitting on the sidewalk, holding a small sign asking for help. And I'm going to show you the difference. His eyes tired from countless days of being ignored. Imagine a woman trying to keep warm with a blanket that is far too thin for the night. These small but powerful details bring the struggle to life. The audience feels the pain, the loneliness, and the hunger that are part of this reality. This connection prepares them to appreciate the meal that is about to come, because now they know what it means to go without. The struggle is also about uncertainty. Many of us take food for granted. We wake up and no breakfast will be there. We plan lunch with friends. We order dinner when we're tired. But for someone experiencing homelessness, none of those things are guaranteed. Every single day is filled with questions like, will I eat today? Where will I sleep? Will anyone even notice me? These questions weigh heavy on the mind, and by showing this, you help the audience step into a perspective they may have never considered before. Beauty of this difference is that it doesn't just make the video more engaging, it makes the act of feeding 100 people feel urgent, meaningful, and necessary. When you show the struggle, you also reveal the strength hidden inside it. Homelessness is not just about weakness or despair. The difference. Many people experiencing it are incredibly resilient. They survive against all odds, they adapt to harsh environments, and they carry stories of courage that the world rarely hears. By capturing small conversations, someone sharing how long they've been on the streets, difference, how they lost their job, or how they're hoping for a better tomorrow, you are not only showing their struggle, you are showing their humanity. That humanity is what turns an audience's sympathy into respect. People realize that these are not just faces in the background of a city. They are human beings with names, dreams, and hearts that still beat with hope. One of the most powerful ways to show the struggle is through contrasts. Show the difference between the abundance many of us live with and the scarcity that homeless people face daily. Difference. The moment when you hold up a bag full of hot meals and compare it to someone holding an empty stomach is striking. I'm going to show you the difference. The moment when you stand in front of a restaurant where people are throwing away leftovers while just outside someone is begging for food. Difference makes the audience question how society has gotten so used to ignoring suffering. These contrasts hit hard because they are uncomfortable truths, but they need you the difference. The more people see the unfairness, the more they understand why your mission matters. Showing the struggle is also about letting silence speak. Sometimes words are not needed. The quiet image of a person shivering in the cold or a close-up of someone's hands trembling as they hold a cup can speak louder than any narration. And I'm going to show you the difference. Silence forces the audience to stop and think, to sit with the reality instead of rushing past it. In a fast-paced world where content comes and goes in seconds, a moment of silence becomes unforgettable. When the audience pauses and feels that discomfort, they will be even more invested in the relief that comes when the meals arrive. But showing the struggle should always be done with dignity. The goal is not to shame or pity, but to highlight the truth with respect. You never point the camera in a way that robs someone of their pride. Instead, you frame it so that viewers see their resilience, their humanity, and the deep injustice of their circumstances. Respect creates trust, the difference, and trust creates a stronger emotional bond. When people feel the struggle was shown honestly and respectfully, they will believe in the mission even more. They will understand that the video is not just about going viral. It is about impact. Another key element is perspective. Audiences may not know what it feels like to go hungry, but you can help them imagine it. Ask them to think about the last time they skipped a meal, difference, how their stomach ached, how their energy dropped, how irritable they felt. Then remind them that for homeless people, this is not one skipped meal. It is sometimes days without proper food. That small shift in perspective allows viewers to move from sympathy to empathy. The difference, they are no longer just watching someone else's struggle. They are imagining it in their own lives. This empathy deepens the meaning of the mission and makes the eventual act of feeding 100 people feel even more satisfying. The power of showing the struggle lies in the transformation it sets up. By showing hunger, you make the food more meaningful. By showing isolation, you make the act of kindness more powerful. By showing despair, you make hope shine brighter. The difference. The contrast between truthfully is what creates the emotional journey that audiences remember long after they finish watching. Without the struggle, the relief would feel empty. With the struggle, the relief feels like victory. That is why this step is essential in the storytelling process. In the end, showing the struggle is about honesty, empathy, and impact. It is about opening people's eyes to a reality they often choose not to see, difference, and then giving them the chance to be part of changing it. It is not about making the audience feel guilty. It is about making them feel human, connected, difference, and capable of kindness. When you reveal the struggle in all its rawness and respect, you give true meaning to the mission of feeding 100 homeless people. The difference. And when the audience feels that meaning, they will stay, they will share the difference, and they will never forget what they saw. Once the mission has been declared and the struggle has been shown, the real energy kicks in when the action begins. This is the moment that shifts the story from words into motion, from promises into results. Audiences love action because it is proof that what you said is not just talk. It is happening right now, step by step, with intensity, energy, and commitment. Difference. The action is where you show the behind the scenes work, the preparation, and the challenges that make the mission feel real and alive. It is not just about handing out food, it is about showing every step it takes to get there, because those steps create suspense, excitement, and a sense of journey that makes the audience want to stay until the very last frame. The first wave of action begins with gathering the resources. Imagine the scene. It's a truck pulling up to a grocery store, carts being filled with ingredients, or bags of meals being loaded into the back of a van. The visuals are fast-paced, it's full of energy, and larger than life. Each shot tells the audience that this is not a small act. It is a production, a mission, an operation that requires planning and teamwork. People love to see scale in action. When they watch dozens of bags, boxes, and trays piling up, they begin to understand the magnitude of what feeding 100 people actually looks like. That scale creates awe, and awe keeps them watching. But action is not only about abundance, it is also about process. People want to see how things come together. When meals are being prepared, they show the chopping of vegetables, the sizzling of food on the stove, the steam rising from pots, and the careful packing of each portion. These small but vivid details make the action tangible. The audience almost feels like they can smell the food, hear the sounds, and taste the results. The difference. Immersing the viewers in the process brings them closer to the mission and makes them feel like they are part of the preparation, not just observers from afar. Teamwork is another essential element of action. Show volunteers, friends, or crew members working side by side, laughing, sweating, The difference, and moving fast to make sure everything is ready. The energy of a team in action is contagious. When people see a group united around a mission, difference, it makes the act feel more powerful because it is no longer just one person trying to make a difference. It is a community. That sense of togetherness is inspiring, and it plants the idea that big acts of kindness are not only possible, but they are easier when people work together. The audience begins to ask themselves, what if I brought my friends to do something like this? That question is exactly what turns viewers into participants in the bigger idea of spreading kindness. No real action comes without obstacles, and showing those obstacles makes the story more authentic. Maybe the food runs out faster than expected. Difference. Maybe the car delivering the meals breaks down. Maybe the team realizes they underestimated how much packaging they would need. These challenges are not setbacks. For instance, they are opportunities to create tension and excitement. When the audience sees problems arise, they wonder if you will be able to overcome them. That suspense keeps them hooked. And when you finally solve the problem, it feels like a victory they shared in. Obstacles make the mission feel human. Show you the difference, because no great story ever unfolds perfectly, and audiences love watching the determination it takes to keep going as the action builds. The pacing of the story matters. Quick cuts, energetic music, and fast-moving scenes create adrenaline. The audience feels like they are racing with you against the clock, preparing meals before it is too late, loading bags before the sun sets, and getting ready to meet the people who are waiting. This pacing communicates urgency, and urgency creates excitement. The audience is not only watching. The difference, they are feeling the energy as if they were in the middle of it all. That emotional involvement is what makes the story unforgettable. The action phase is also the place to highlight generosity in motion. Showing stacks of meals being packed and prepared demonstrates abundance. And abundance is inspiring. There is something powerful about seeing a mountain of food ready to be given away. It shifts the perspective from scarcity to abundance, from there is not enough to look how much good we can create when we put effort into it. These visuals tap into a deeper hope inside the audience. And I'm going to show you the difference, the idea that the world is enough to go around if only more people chose to share. That message, delivered not through words but through action, lingers with viewers long after the video ends. Another crucial piece of the action is showing small victories along the way. Every time a box is filled, every time a meal is completed, every time a car is loaded, capture that sense of progress. Progress is satisfying to watch because it makes the audience feel like they are moving forward with you. They can see the mission advancing step by step. Difference, and that momentum keeps them invested. By the time the final meal is packed, the audience feels like they helped pack it too. That shared sense of accomplishment makes the eventual distribution of food even more rewarding. Action also creates opportunity for humor and lightheartedness. Even in serious missions, moments of laughter, mistakes, or funny interactions add balance. If someone accidentally drops a bag, if a pot of rice overflows, the difference. Or if a volunteer makes a silly joke, those moments humanize the action. They remind the audience that while the mission is serious, the process can still be joyful. This balance of seriousness and humor makes the story feel natural and relatable. People want to see real humans, not just polished perfection. Finally, difference. The action sets the stage for the climax of the story. By showing the preparation, the teamwork, the obstacles, and the victories, you build anticipation for the moment when the meals will finally be delivered. The audience knows what it took to get there. And that knowledge makes the delivery feel earned. When the action is shown in full, the eventual moment of handing food to someone in need becomes more than just a transaction. It becomes the fulfillment of a journey. The audience has traveled with you through every step, and now they are ready to witness the impact. The moment everything builds toward is the giveaway. Difference. This is the climax, the part where the mission stops being preparation and becomes impact. All the energy of shopping, cooking, packing, and organizing has been leading to this point. The audience has been waiting. The people in need have been waiting. Difference, and you yourself have been pushing to reach this exact moment. Nothing compares to the feeling of walking up to someone who is hungry, holding out a warm meal, and watching the reaction that follows. The difference. This is where the mission stops being just an idea and becomes a memory that will live in the hearts of 100 people and in the minds of everyone who watches. When the giveaway begins, the most powerful thing you can do is capture the first interactions. The very first meal handed over is symbolic. It sets the tone for everything that follows. Imagine the camera zooming in as you pass a plate or a bag of food to someone who has been waiting all day. Their hands might tremble slightly as they take it, Difference. Their eyes might widen in disbelief, and their voice might crack as they say, "Thank you." That single moment carries more emotion than any words could. It is a reminder that sometimes the smallest act of meal, a smile, a gesture, can mean the world to someone who has so little. The difference. The first giveaway is not just about one person eating, it is about showing the world what generosity in action looks like. As more meals are handed out, the atmosphere transforms. At first, there may be hesitation, a quiet line of people waiting patiently, unsure of what is coming. But as the food begins to flow, energy rises, smiles start to spread, conversations begin, and the crowd slowly turns from silence into laughter and gratitude. These transformations are the magic of the giveaway moment. Viewers love to see people's moods change right before their eyes, from despair to relief, from hunger to satisfaction, from invisibility to being seen. That change is the real payoff for the audience. Just show you the difference. They are not just watching meals being distributed, they are watching lives being touched, even if just for a day. Each individual reaction matters. Some people might smile widely and joke with you. Others might quietly nod, too overwhelmed to speak. A few might even break down in tears because a simple meal has reminded them that they are not forgotten. Every reaction is a story, difference, and every story deepens the impact of the mission. When you look into someone's eyes and see gratitude shining back, you realize this is not just about food, it is about dignity, hope, and connection. For the audience, difference. These moments are unforgettable because they go beyond the screen and into the heart. The act of giving is powerful, but the way you give matters even more. Giving with respect and kindness is what transforms a transaction into a moment of humanity. Looking someone in the eyes, shaking their hand, listening to a few words of their story, these small gestures carry as much weight as the food itself. When people see you treating others with compassion, it inspires them to treat people in their own lives the same way. The audience does not just see meals being handed out, they see an example of how kindness should be shared with humility, with love, and without judgment. The difference. There is also something incredible about the collective energy of the giveaway. Feeding 100 people means being surrounded by a community. The difference, a group of individuals who may not know each other, but are united by this one moment. As the line grows shorter and stomachs begin to fill, you can sense the relief in the air. There is less tension, more conversation, more life. These group dynamics are powerful to capture, and I'm going to show you the difference because they show that generosity creates ripples. One act can shift the mood of an entire crowd, creating a temporary but beautiful moment of unity. For the audience, it feels like watching a miracle unfold right in front of them. The giveaway moment also allows for spontaneous stories to surface. Maybe one person shares that this is the first meal they've had in 2 days. Maybe another explains how they once had a stable life but fell on hard times. These stories give depth to the mission because they remind viewers that homelessness is not an identity. It is a situation often temporary, and often the result of circumstances beyond control. By giving people space to speak, you give them their voice back, and by sharing their voices, you give the audience perspective they may have never considered. Another important part of the giveaway is scale. As the meals keep being handed out, the audience feels the weight of the number. 10 meals handed out feels good, 20 feels powerful, 50 feels massive. But when the count climbs to 100, the impact becomes undeniable. The visuals of bags disappearing, trays being emptied, and a crowd being served one by one show the audience the mission has been completed in full. Numbers in action are far more powerful than numbers in words. Seeing 100 people fed is not just a statistic, it is an experience. Of course, the giveaway moment is not just about those who receive. It is also about those who give. The volunteers, the friends, the team, all of them experience the joy of service in real time, capturing their laughter, their hives, difference. Their tired but happy faces shows the audience that generosity doesn't just change the lives of the people receiving, it changes the lives of the people giving as well. Kindness is contagious, and when viewers see how much fun it can be to help, they are more likely to take action themselves. The emotional core of the giveaway is transformation. People arrive hungry, tired, and uncertain, but they leave full, relieved, and uplifted. Even if the meal only lasts for one night, the kindness lasts much longer. That feeling of being noticed, valued, and cared for is something that sticks. For the audience, watching that transformation unfold is deeply satisfying because it completes the journey that began with the bold declaration of feeding 100 people. The difference. It is the resolution to the tension, the light after the struggle, the proof that words turned into action and action turned into impact. The giveaway moment is where everything comes together. The mission, the preparation, the struggle, the teamwork, the obstacles. All of it leads to this point. Difference. And the emotions here are what make the story unforgettable. The sight of 100 people being fed one by one is not just the end of a challenge, it is the beginning of a bigger idea. It shows that kindness on a massive scale is possible, that generosity can be exciting, and that making a difference is not limited to a select few. The audience walks away not only entertained, but also inspired, carrying with them the memory of those reactions, those smiles, difference, and those heartfelt thank yous. When the food has been handed out and the excitement of the giveaway moment begins to settle, what remains is the impact. This is where the mission reaches its deepest meaning. Because it's no longer about the scale of numbers or the rush of energy, it's about the human effect of what just happened. Difference. The impact highlight is the point where the audience realizes that the meals weren't just bags of food handed over. They were symbols of care, dignity, and hope. Difference. It's where the story shifts from action into reflection, from spectacle into substance. This is the point that makes the mission unforgettable. Because viewers are not only entertained, they are moved, inspired, and changed. Impact shows itself most clearly in the faces of the people who have been served. A smile that wasn't there before now spreads across someone's face. A person who once sat in silence now engages in conversation. A tired expression transforms into one of relief. These visual changes are subtle but powerful because they show that something real has shifted. The difference. It's not just about filling stomachs, it's about lifting spirits. And when the camera lingers on these transformations, the audience feels it in their own hearts. They realize that one meal, one simple act can create a ripple of positivity that extends far beyond the food itself. Impact is also found in the stories that emerge. Someone might share how they've been sleeping on the streets for weeks, and this is the first warm meal they've had in days. Difference. Another might talk about how they lost their job and are trying to get back on their feet but struggle daily with hunger. A mother might say that she doesn't eat just so her children can have a little more. These stories carry weight because they reveal the reality behind the struggle. So they remind viewers that homelessness isn't about laziness or stereotypes. It's about circumstances, hardship, and resilience. The difference. Highlighting even one of these stories turns the mission from a general act of kindness into a deeply personal connection. The difference. The audience doesn't just see 100 people, they see individuals with lives, dreams, and challenges, and that makes the mission unforgettable. The impact highlight is also about scale. 100 people is not just a number, it's 100 different lives touched. When you zoom out and show the crowd, difference, full from their meals, chatting with one another, maybe even laughing, you reveal the bigger picture. You show what it means to create a community. Even if only for a moment, people who may have felt invisible all day are suddenly seen, fed, and acknowledged. Difference. That temporary gathering becomes a memory that they will carry with them, and for the audience, it becomes a vision of what's possible when people come together to help. What makes Impact so powerful is that it doesn't end with the meal. For the people served, difference. The food is important, but the kindness is just as nourishing. Knowing that someone cared enough to prepare, organize, and deliver 100 meals sends a message. You are not forgotten. That message matters because homelessness often comes with feelings of invisibility and isolation. The impact of a meal goes far beyond calories. It restores a sense of worth. And when the audience sees that, and I'm going to show you the difference. They don't just think about the act of feeding, they think about the meaning of being seen, respected, and valued. So another layer of impact comes from showing the effect on those who gave. The volunteers, the team, even you yourself, your reactions matter just as much. It's capturing the smiles of those who handed out food, the high fives exchanged after the last meal was given, the quiet satisfaction of knowing you completed the mission. All of this shows that kindness is not one-sided. Helping others changes the helper too. The audience learns that generosity is not just about sacrifice, it's about joy. Difference. It's about the unique happiness that comes from making a difference in someone else's life. By highlighting this dual impact, you show viewers that they don't lose anything by giving, they gain something priceless. One of the strongest ways to highlight impact is through contrast. Show the before and after. Show someone waiting hungry, sitting quietly, then show the same person smiling with a full plate in their hands. Show the crowd at the start, Difference, subdued and tired, then show them after, chatting and eating with energy. These before and after visuals are powerful because they make the transformation undeniable. They show that action produces real results, and that results create real change. The audience walks away with proof that generosity doesn't just sound good, it works. Difference. The impact highlight is also where inspiration takes root. When viewers see 100 people fed, 100 smiles created, 100 lives touched, they can't help but think, what could I do in my own way? Maybe they can't feed 100, but maybe they can feed one. Maybe they can't organize a massive giveaway, but maybe they can buy a meal for someone they see on the street. By showing the magnitude of the impact, the difference, you plant the seed for smaller acts of kindness everywhere. This ripple effect is what turns one mission into a movement. It's because each viewer who takes action multiplies the original impact in their own community. Sometimes impact is best shown in quiet moments. A person eating slowly. Difference, savoring every bite. Someone holding the meal close, almost hugging it as if it's more than food, it's comfort. Difference. These intimate shots show the depth of the mission in ways words cannot. They remind the audience that while the number 100 is big, the real meaning lies in the individual experiences. Each meal matters, each person matters, and when you highlight these moments, you reinforce the idea that kindness is not about quantity alone, it's about quality, about the way a single act can change a single life. Ultimately, the impact highlight is the heart of the story. It's the emotional core that ensures the video or speech is not just a showcase of generosity, but a lesson in humanity. It tells the audience that kindness is not abstract, it's visible, measurable, and deeply felt. By shining a light on the effects of the mission. Difference, you transform entertainment into meaning, and meaning is what people carry with them long after the video is over. The meals may be eaten, the event may be over, but the impact on the people who received, on the people who gave, the difference, and on the audience who watched will last far longer. Every story needs an ending that doesn't just wrap things up, but leaves the audience with something unforgettable to carry forward. After the declaration of the mission, the struggle shown, the action taken, the meals given away, and the impact highlighted, the final piece is the close. This is where the energy slows just enough to let meaning rise to the surface. The difference. It's the point where you look back at what was achieved and project forward, what could still be done. Difference. A powerful close isn't just a summary, it's an emotional spark designed to stay in the minds and hearts of everyone who experienced the journey. The difference. The close begins with reflection. You stand there after all the meals have been handed out, maybe surrounded by empty trays, tired volunteers. Show you the difference and the quiet satisfaction of people who are full for the first time in a while. There is a sense of stillness in that moment, calm after the storm of action. That is the perfect time to let the audience feel the weight of what just happened. 100 people were hungry and now they're fed. 100 lives were touched. The difference. 100 reminders were given that kindness still exists in the world. By reflecting on the magnitude of the achievement, show you the difference. You help the audience realize that what they just witnessed wasn't only entertainment, it was something meaningful that matters. A strong close also draws out the lessons hidden in the story. You show that this mission wasn't about proving how much one person can do. The difference, but about proving how much we can all do when we choose to act. You remind the audience that it doesn't take $1 million or a massive production to change lives. It takes the decision to care, the effort to organize, and the courage to give. That lesson transforms the mission from a single event into a universal idea. The difference. It tells every viewer that they have the power to make an impact in their own way, and when people believe they can make a difference, they are more likely to go out and try. Closing powerfully also means connecting the emotional threads of the story. Difference. You might recall the faces of individuals you met. The man who hadn't eaten in 2 days, the mother who shared food with her child, the person who smiled for the first time in weeks. Mentioning those specific moments reinforces that this wasn't about numbers, it was about people. It allows the audience to relive those emotions one more time and lock them into memory. By ending with humanity, not statistics, you keep the focus on what truly matters. Another key part of the close is gratitude. Thanking the volunteers, the people who helped prepare meals, the audience who supported by watching or sharing, and even the people who received the meals creates a sense of unity. Gratitude is powerful because it transforms a simple video into a shared experience. Everyone feels like they were part of the journey, not just observers. And when people feel included, they are more likely to carry the message forward, telling others about what they saw, and maybe even trying to replicate it themselves. Gratitude turns the mission into a community. The most powerful close also looks forward, not just backward. You take the moment of accomplishment and turn it into a challenge. If feeding 100 homeless people is possible, what else is possible? Difference. Could we feed 200 next time? Could other people in other cities do the same thing? Could viewers try something small in their neighborhoods, buying a meal for one person, volunteering at a shelter, donating their time or resources? By planning these questions, you transform the ending into a beginning. The audience doesn't walk away thinking, that was nice. They walk away thinking, and I'm going to show you the difference. That is the seed of change, and a strong close plants it intentionally. The tone of the close is equally important. It should be heartfelt. It's passionate and authentic. People can sense when words are real. When you say that this experience has changed you, that you'll never forget the smiles you saw. That kindness is more powerful than any challenge. You must say it with honesty. I'm going to show you the difference. That honesty connects directly with the audience because they know it's not a scripted line, it's a lived truth. And when people feel that truth, they trust not only the message, but also the messenger. A close is also the chance to deliver a simple but memorable line. Something that can live beyond the video. Something that people can quote, share, and repeat. It might be a phrase like, kindness costs nothing but changes everything, or, if one meal can bring this much joy, imagine what we can do together. Simple lines stick. They echo in people's minds after the video is over. They turn a powerful close into a lasting message that people carry into their own lives. The final images are just as important as the words, showing the empty boxes, the cleaned up tables, or the last smile of someone walking away with a full stomach creates closure. Maybe you walk away slowly as the camera pulls back, showing the city skyline or the street returning to its ordinary rhythm. The difference, that contrast between the extraordinary mission and the ordinary world reminds the audience that kindness doesn't have to be rare. It can happen anywhere, anytime. If someone decides to make it happen, the visuals of closing carry the same weight as the narration because they linger in memory. Difference. A powerful close doesn't just end the story, it expands it. It shows that what happened in that one day with those 100 meals is just a glimpse of what humanity can achieve when compassion meets action. It tells the audience that this mission wasn't about going viral or making content. It was about making a difference. And by sharing that difference with millions of viewers, you create a bridge between the people who were helped and the people who are watching. That bridge is the true impact, and the close makes it visible. In the end, the difference. The powerful close is not about drawing attention to yourself, but about directing attention to the bigger picture. It's about showing that the real heroes are the people who keep surviving despite their struggles, the volunteers who gave their time, and the viewers who will carry the spirit of kindness into their own worlds. You step back so that the message can step forward. And I'm going to show you the difference. That's what makes the close powerful. It doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to everyone who chooses to listen, to act, and to care.